to the Unreal BootCamp lesson on requesting user statistics. In this lesson, we'll be using the read all user stats request to get and then display a list of user statistics in the Unreal app. Taking a closer look at the request, we do not need to provide any parameters except of course for the callback pointer. Open the Unreal editor. We're going to need to create a couple of C++ classes. In the C++ classes space shooter folder, right-click and select New C++ class. This class will not have a parent class. Click Next. Name the class Statistic. Click Create Class. Right-click and select New C++ class. This class will have a parent class. Click Show All Classes and then select Object as the parent class. Name the class Statistics Manager. Click Create Class. Open Xcode and navigate to the constants.h file. At the top, include map. Then declare an f-string constant for the games played statistic, the enemies killed statistic, and the asteroids destroyed statistic. Ensure the values for each constant match the name of the statistics that we created in the previous lesson on the brainCloud portal. Then declare a map for a pair of f-strings and initialize each entry with a statistic name and its corresponding description. This description will be what the user actually sees in our example game. Once we are done formatting, navigate to the statistic.h file. Delete the auto-generated constructor and destructor. Then declare a public constructor that takes in a pair of f-string values, one for the name and one for the description, and an int value that represents the current value of the statistic. Then declare a public method called applyIncrement. This method takes in a single value of type int and has a default argument of 1. After that, declare public getter methods for the statistic's name, description, value, and increment. Then declare a public setter method for the statistic's increment. Declare 4 private member variables, a pair of f-string variables to represent the name and the description of the statistic, and a pair of int variables to represent the value and increment of the statistic. Navigate to the statistics CBP file. Delete the generated constructor and destructor implementations. Then implement the statistic constructor and initialize the member variables. Next, implement the applyIncrement method. In the body, assign the amount parameter to both the mincrement and mValue member variables. Implement the getName method. Implement the getDescription method. Implement the getValue method. Implement the getIncrement method. Finally, implement the setIncrement method. Navigate to the statisticsmanager.h file. At the top, include statistic.h and vector. Then, declare a public default constructor and a default destructor. Declare a public method named setStatistics. This method will take in a const reference to a vector of statistic objects. Declare a public method called getStatisticByName. This method will take in a const f-string reference and return a pointer to a statistic object. Declare a public method called getStatisticAtIndex. This method takes in an int and returns a pointer to a statistic object. Finally, declare a method called getCount. Declare a private member variable of type vector of statistic objects named mStatistics. Navigate to the statisticsmanager.cpp file. Implement the setStatistics method. In the body, assign the statistics parameter to the mStatistics member variable. Next, implement the getStatisticByName method. In the body, loop through the statistic objects in the mStatistics vector. Compare each object's name to the name parameter. If there's a match, return the address of the statistic object. If there isn't a match, return a null pointer. Next, implement the getStatisticAtIndex method. In the body, safety check the index parameter, and if the index is valid, return the address of the corresponding statistic object for the index. If the index is not valid, return a null pointer. Finally, implement the getCount method. In the body, return the size of the mStatistics vector. Navigate to the statistic element user-widget.h file. This class displays a single statistic entry on the statistics dialog. At the top, include statistic.h. Declare a public method called setStatistic. Navigate to the statistic element user-widget.cpp file and implement the setStatistic method. Set the text value for the statistics description and the statistics value. This is what's displaying the statistic to the user. Navigate to the network callback.h file. At the top, include statistic.h. Then declare a pair of callback methods for requesting the list of user statistics. Navigate to the networkmanager.h file. Declare a public method called requestUserStatistics. Scroll down and declare a pair of private callback functions. Make sure to mark these methods as a U function with the callback category. Finally, declare a private network callback handler object called mReadUserStatisticsCallback. This will be passed in when we make the brainCloud request. Navigate to the networkmanager.cpp file. Bind the private callback methods we just declared to the callback handler's success and failure delegates. Scroll down and implement the requestUserStatistics method. First, we'll check to see if the user is authenticated. If the user is not authenticated, we'll log a meaningful error message. And if set, we'll invoke the callback's onUserStatisticsRequest failed method. If the user is authenticated, we'll invoke brainCloud's player statistics services read all user stats request, passing in the address of our callback object as the argument. Scroll down. Implement the onReadUserStatistics callback method. In the body, log the response data. Then declare a vector of statistic objects called statisticsList. Create a JSON reader using the JSON response data. Then declare a JSON object and using the JSON reader, deserialize the JSON data. If the JSON data was deserialized successfully, we can now start to parse the data. Get the data object from the root JSON object. Then from the data object, get the statistics array. Loop through each statistic object in the JSON statistics array and parse the statistic name and value. Use the constant statistics description map to determine the statistics description. Create a statistic object, pass in the name, description, and a value, and push that object onto the back of the statistics list vector. Once all the statistics have been parsed, if the callback is set, invoke the callback's onUserStatisticsRequestCompleted method and pass in the statistics list vector as the argument. Next, implement the onReadUserStatistics error method. Log an error message along with a JSON error. If set, invoke the callback's onUserStatisticsRequestFailed method. Navigate to the spaceshooter GameModeBase.h file. At the top, include statisticsmanager.h. Scroll down and declare a public method called getStatisticsManager that returns a useStatisticsManager pointer. Scroll down and override the onUserStatisticsRequestCompleted method. Declare a private member variable called mStatisticsManager of type useStatisticsManagerPointer. Make sure to mark this member as a U property to retain ownership of the pointer and ensure the Unreal garbage collector does not delete the object on us. Navigate to the spaceshooter GameModeBase.cpp file. In the constructor, initialize the mStatisticsManager pointer to null. Then, create an instance of the useStatisticsManager object, store the result in the mStatisticsManager member variable. Scroll down and implement the getStatisticsManager method, returning the mStatisticsManager member variable in the body. Scroll all the way to the bottom and implement the onUserStatisticsRequestCompleted method. In the body, invoke the statisticsManager setStatistics method, passing in the statistics parameter as the argument. Scroll up and find the onAuthenticationRequestCompleted method, and invoke the network manager's requestUserStatistics method. Navigate to the statistics dialog widget.cpp file. At the top, include statistic.h and statisticsmanager.h. Then, in the onShow method, retrieve the spaceshooter GameModeBase pointer from the game world. Safety check the pointer, and then loop through each statistic object in the statistics manager. This loop is going to pass along a statistic pointer to the respective statistic element. Click the Run button to build the project and launch the Unreal Editor. In the Unreal editor, run the game. Click brainCloud, then click Statistics. The Statistics dialog will appear, and the 3 statistics that we defined in the previous lesson are displayed, each with a value of 0. In the next lesson, we will hook these statistics into the example game and increment them. Incrementing user statistics is the next lesson in the Unreal BootCamp.